goes it? This is Deb Jones, and welcome to my very first podcast. You know, I can't believe I'm saying that. You know, I can't believe it's real. And to me, this podcast is I wanted it to be a platform, you know, for women in the industry. It's extremely important to me that all of my guests on this show, that they are all women in the industry, or they are men who support women in the industry. My guests today are the latter of those two options. So also, please keep in mind, you know, this is the first time I've ever set up podcast equipment. So as a result, I failed to record the first 7 seconds of my conversation with them this afternoon. I hope that all is forgiven when you hear the quality of what it is that they are talking about. All right, and without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Franky Guttman. Say hello for our audience.
Hi, everybody.
And Michael Bilow, Jeopardy champion.
Yes, it's Michael Bilow.
I mean, to sell out on a Thursday, you know, to have a line down the block on a Thursday night at midnight, that's, you guys are doing something right. That's all I'll say about that.
That's very kind of you.
No, you can't argue with success.
Well, that's great. I'm glad people are talking about it. It's been really fun to put it together. We have a great guest coming up this month's show. We're going to be talking about cults.
We have a woman who's been putting up a one-man show, one-person show, one human show.
You know, and we support that show, obviously, as men who
They
support women
in the industry.
Yes, absolutely.
That's amazing.
And her name is Kathy
Schenkelberg. She was in the Scientology for 14 years, so she's going to be our main guest. We're going to talk to her, and
Yep, and we're also going to be bringing in a professor at UCLA who specializes in ancient religions, so ancient religions and cults.
That sounds fascinating. Have either of you two had any personal experiences with Scientology or Scientologists?
Well, definitely, you know, I grew up in New York City, so they would always have their little stands that they would put up on the street, and they would have the e-meter with the little cans that you squeeze. And actually, when I went to college, I went to college in Buffalo, and there was a Scientology organization downtown, like right around the corner from my house, and they were always having like open mic nights and art exhibits, and they would always be handing out flyers, and they were so friendly, and it was like, man, we just love the arts. We want to support the arts in Buffalo, man. And I never did attend one of their events, much to my chagrin.
The first time I was ever approached by a woman, and I believe this may be the only time that a woman has approached me, was I was on the street. I was at Hillhurst and Hollywood, it's Vermont and Hollywood, up in that that part of Los Feliz, and this beautiful woman comes up and starts talking to me at a bus stop because my car had broken down, so I was getting everywhere in LA by bus. And I just don't understand what's going on because this has never happened to me in my life before or since. And then she hands me a Scientology flyer, a sort of mail-in version of the personality test. So then I wrote my friend's parents' home address on that and sent it in. Hey,
you know, I strive to be an optimist.
Yeah.
So my experience with Scientology was, so Donica and I have 5 pugs. And
I'm sorry, who's Donica?
Donica's my partner.
Oh.
And we have 5 pugs, and Miguel is this pretty hefty little pug. He's my favorite, so it is no coincidence that he is, you know, also the heaviest. Extra treats for him. But anywho, he threw out his back leg one day, and I... No, what are you guys laughing at?
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that. I love dogs. I'm sorry, keep going.
Thank God he's okay, but, you know, he threw out his back leg. And, you know, I always heard my neighbor raving about this chiropractor for dogs. And, you know, so I knocked on her door, got the phone number, and, I was talking to the dog chiropractor on the phone. There was just something that told me that he was a Scientologist. I don't know how to explain it any further than that. So I asked them on the phone, I said, Are you a Scientologist? Are you affiliated with Scientology? And they said no. Long story short, I went down to the office in Canoga Park, and there was 3 pictures of L. Ron Hubbard on the wall. No joke. 10 books of Dianetics back to back.
10 of the same book.
Yeah, no, literally. So what was your inspiration for Dark Matters?
Sure. Well, I've always been a fan of the radio show Coast to Coast AM, classic version hosted by Art Bell. And I used to, when I was in college, I would just drive late at night and listen to Coast to Coast. I've always been a huge fan of it. And I had read Art Bell's book called The Art of Talk, where he talks about his strategy behind radio. And he basically said he never screens any calls ever, and I thought that was amazing. And then when the Pack Theater started putting up shows, I thought it would be cool to have a show that was focused on stuff like that, like paranormal elements and creepy stuff. I don't know.
I've been involved in the Pack Theater for and its predecessors for about 4 years now. When the opportunity came to do kind of a fun monthly show with a sci-fi bent. I'm a PhD student in computer science and computational genetics at UCLA, and I've known Franky for a while. I thought it was a good opportunity for me to help out.
Did I tell you that I was at one of your guys' shows? And on a separate occasion, I called in. I know, I was afraid that you guys were going to recognize my voice because I felt so bad. I called in with a ghost story.
Oh, you know,
does peanut butter ring a bell?
Yes.
Oh,
I called
wow.
in, I called in with a question.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was, as soon as I said what I said, which was, do ghosts eat peanut butter? I immediately regretted it because I realized how stupid that must have sounded. But if you guys could understand why I even asked the question,
I don't think it's stupid at all.
No,
you don't?
And of course our friends at A. Mandela Paranormal.
Yeah.
Were able to answer that question, that ghosts do in fact like peanut butter.
Yeah.
So this has been so much fun. Is there any last thing that you'd like to say about your show, about where we can find you?
Sure. We have a website at www.darkmattersshow.com. We're on Twitter at Dark Matters Show. We are also on Facebook. Look for the Dark Matters Show page, or look for Dark Matters Show #3, Cults.
Yeah, it's going to be October 6th at 11:59 p.m. That's a Thursday night. The show's Pay What You Can. It's at 6470 Santa Monica Boulevard, the Pack Theater, which if you go to packtheater.com, spelled the unfancy way, there's a lot of great shows going on there, 7 nights a week, which is great. This theater just went 7 nights a week, and we're proud to be part of that lineup. And I think, yeah, if anybody's listening to this, if you live in LA, or if you don't live in LA, you can give us a call if you can't make it to the show.
Yeah, give them that number.
And the number's 213-438-9845. That's 213-438-9845. We're going to be starting at around 10 a.m. That's Thursday night into Friday morning, and the whole hour till 1 a.m. That's Pacific time. Just give us a call, and if you get our answering machine, leave a message, and we'll play it on our mini podcast. And so, yeah, also you can search for our podcast, which will be coming out soon on iTunes and everywhere else you can find podcasts.
Yep.
But yeah, this is so much fun. So thanks for being part of the show, and have a good evening.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yep.
Right on.